Yeah, there you go. You got it.
And let's go, maybe I already have it. Okay, sorry.
We'll start, we're gonna call the meeting to order, and we're gonna let Diane Johnson do our invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, you are the builder of all things. Please guide us in this meeting. Help us to come up with effective strategies that can enable us to move forward as a team in a meaningful way. Help us to have grace and understanding of all the needs and to share in that plan with generosity and respect. Let our plans nourish and support those communities that we serve in a practical and sustainable manner. Guide us now towards the best way to take action to accomplish our goals. Amen.
Okay, you have the agenda here. Do I have a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
No, can we
Okay.
add something?
Do you think that it'll fit under the 2004 budget or not?
It could.
Okay, so I think it'll be fine to fit right under
Then I'll
that.
second.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second? Did I have a second? Diane second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We now have time for recognition of the public. No one signed up to speak, so I assume everybody's just here to listen and observe, right? Okay, moving on. Okay, the minutes from our February 8th meeting, which was the last one that we talked about our budget. Do I have a motion to approve these minutes?
Yes.
Okay, Diane makes the motion. Second. Joanna seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so we can go right on to the business. And the first item is the distribution of funds remaining from the fiscal year 2023 payroll. And Diane sent us a packet and an explanation with the transfers.
Yes. So
Do we need a motion to get it on the floor before you explain it? Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Debbie Martin, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All right, Diane.
okay, so this is a little bit of a moving target because we still have one employee, Susan, the bookkeeper, in these funds that are still being paid out. But when I prepared this meeting, this was as accurate as it could be. And it's moving some of the funds over to Hendersonville for them to prepare for being open on a Friday. It's also giving a little bit of part-time help to Portland, Gallatin, and Millersville as well. And then also preparing Westmoreland to hire a full-time person. So these are just the remaining funds. I have not put anything on here for TCRS, medical, or dental, because when I finally this all has to be approved at the March 13th budget, and those numbers as far as the bookkeeper funds will be slightly less, and then whatever is left in those benefit lines, I will work with Beth Browning. So this is just, while I don't want to say this is a guess, it's not a guess, but where the bookkeeper line is, it will continue to decrease. So some of these numbers over here on the right side will slightly decrease just because come March 13th, those funds aren't going to be exactly as they are right now today. But this will give you a good indication of where we're going, and they are very, very close.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, that was very helpful. Does anybody have anything to speak to, or any questions, or?
About this?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're in discussion now?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm gonna go to the one that says 149, just because I like to deal in whole numbers.
Well, we're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there yet?
We're on
Oh,
this
this is
fiscal year
fiscal
right now.
year
Okay, so then-
2023.
Okay, so then, so this isn't the dissolving?
The 62,000 is dissolving for the remaining funds of this year.
Okay, so then okay, really quickly, I misread this agenda. Because we should have had approving library directors' budgets on this agenda. Because that's one thing that we're supposed to be talking about today.
But you don't have a final copy.
That's, under funds for 2024.
Okay, so this is gonna be
That might
included,
fit.
this and their budgets? Okay.
We-
Okay,
Now, see, 2024, well, payroll, but that's gonna be in the 2024.
okay. So then the funds that are going to go to the Hendersonville Library, Portland, Westmoreland, all the stuff. So, I'm assuming that this is going to lead into what is going to be in the 2024. So, I see that money was pulled from Gallatin and from Millersville.
No,
No, from Gallatin and Portland, sorry.
no. We're not moving any money from any library.
No, from what you proposed the last time. Really quickly, you were supposed to give us 3 scenarios, but this is only one. So
Well,
I'm
there's
trying.
so many ways to slice and dice
Okay.
this. So if you don't like something that's here,
Okay.
then we can adjust it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go off of what you gave us before, which was.
Did you get the packet she gave you today?
No, I don't have the packet she gave me today. Where's the packet?
One of those right there by the
There.
green stapler.
What, one of these two?
Okay. Okay. So, this is what she's proposing today, correct? And then what she proposed last time is what I'm looking for, which is what I brought here. So,
Right, the very first time,
Correct.
Joanna, was when everybody, I didn't have a full-time person in for Westmoreland, and everybody felt that we needed to give Westmoreland some help, so then those numbers had to kind of adjust around.
okay. So, and the last one, Hendersonville was going to get 3 librarians and 2 part-timers, right?
They were gonna get two
Two full-time.
full-times and 3 part-times. But there's not enough for that right now. One of their full-times they already have, which is the children's librarian, but they need to start paying for that.
Okay, so we've got 2, okay, how is this breaking down on this budget, on the first one, we're looking at the $62,000? It just says H librarians, are those full-time?
Those are full-time,
Okay,
and then
one
part-time is
part-time.
part-time.
okay, and then another part-time for Portland,
Right.
okay? And then we're looking at,
There was some extra money that originally Portland was going to transfer to Gallatin. We're not doing that, but that, with the money that they were gonna transfer plus this amount on here, that will get them to be able to start hiring a part-time individual.
I thought Gallatin was gonna transfer.
They originally were, but then the decision was made that they
Okay.
would not.
Yeah.
There's not enough money for that.
Okay, so is Portland going to be getting the same amount they would have originally?
Yes. Where they were gonna be given 12,667 for some, for a 40-hour per pay period part-time individual.
Okay,
And then there's some people in Portland that are misclassified, so that'll give a little money for reclassification there as well.
okay. And then this is enough money for Westmoreland to get their full-time?
Yes.
The 8,000?
Yes,
And then Gallatin is getting less money.
yes.
And now, remember that this is just from the library system.
Yes,
Okay.
for the remaining funds for the library system for 2023.
Okay. And then Millersville is getting,
A little bit of part-time as well.
okay. And so, if they're gonna hire two full-time and one part-time at Hendersonville, how are they gonna sustain that into the budget?
Because when we get to 2024, they will get a full year's worth of salary plus some from the city of Hendersonville.
Okay, that's where the problem is coming in. Because Hendersonville, one, hasn't been approved, okay?
It
has to
has
go through-
approved first reading, and when I talked to Jamie Clary, he was absolutely convinced that it would go through on the second reading on the 28th, and he will send me a letter of commitment on that, at that time.
Okay, one, I never claim how anyone's gonna vote, so I think it's kind of,
And those funds have not been included in any of these numbers.
okay, but you're banking on that for Hendersonville.
Yes,
Okay, so, and in that $20,000, the county has to match it.
no,
No.
no.
That's,
The county
Okay.
matched it more than enough when they did
They
the
did the
salary
salary
survey
survey.
adjustments.
okay, that was not the intention of the salary survey,
No, but it's working that way.
but that's not the intention of it.
No, but if the city wants to give us 20,000 and not require the county to come up with another 20, then that's okay.
Okay, how do you justify taking money from the county that was never intended for that? They gave that money for a salary survey, and now we're playing a shell game and we're moving it. And we're saying, oh, we're gonna go ahead and do this.
Well, we're moving all of the library system funds out.
Yes,
And so we've got a pot full of money that we can divide among the 5 libraries.
mhm,
So if you've got this pot of money and you divide it, plus you throw in some for Hendersonville for what the city of Hendersonville is doing, the other cities, if they want their libraries to be open, they can contribute extra money as well.
okay,
I mean, I feel like you're trying to harm Hendersonville because maybe the rest of them haven't contributed.
no, I haven't said that at all. What I'm saying is the intention of the $20,000, the intention of the money that was given in the salary survey was the intention for the people that were employed at that time, and that's what they were given the money for. It wasn't to match something that they already said that they wouldn't do in former years. So
Well-
that's, no, I don't go, whoa, because we report to the county commissioners. And if they go, hey, we didn't mean for this money to do that, you guys came to me and asked me for it, and we said no.
Right, originally, that's right.
And if you went and asked them now, they would say no as well. So, probably. So what my thing is the intention behind this is deceptive.
Well, I don't agree with that, mainly because there's this system account that took money from the libraries to begin with. The county never funded the system, okay? And they were high-paid salaries, especially the executive director. That salary alone is more than 2 salaries when you divide it up, okay? So that money is there to divide back out.
To divide back out, not to create more opportunity. So if we were just to say, hey, you know what, we're gonna give you back the money that you lost, Hendersonville would still be closed on Fridays, and they would have their money back. So again, and then this is just payroll. We open up on Fridays, and I have gone and talked about this. We now have utilities now that we have to pay for. We have other things that we have to pay for. And, you know, I live in Hendersonville, love the Hendersonville Library. But I also don't want to use this as an opportunity to deceptively give them the money that the county said no to. And now we're going to figure out a way to give it to them. When Allen's not asking for Fridays to be open.
No, but the population in Hendersonville is.
Have you done a survey?
Yes,
Yes.
a survey was done.
Yes, it
survey-
was. And just
survey
about
that was
every
done-
survey that was
Okay.
turned in said, we need this library to
And
be
is
open.
the population, okay, so I understand population, but here we're also can't go on what population wants all times. Because is the population going to give the money?
Through their taxes, yes.
Okay, but the county has said we're not going to give it. So what they need to do.
So, and that was the stipulation prior.
Mhm.
If the city was coughing up X number of dollars, at that point, they expected the county to cough up equal dollars.
Yes.
That's not the condition now.
Can I
What's-
ask a question here?
Mhm.
What is it gonna cost to open up on Fridays? I mean, with salaries, utilities, and that's part of my concern.
We
Is
estimated-
$20,000 gonna cover it?
We estimated 40, and that was part from the county and part from the city.
But are you getting 20 from the county?
I believe that we're getting 20,000 because of all the salary survey adjustments. And when you're dissolving the library system, most of that money that was given to the three people that were in the payroll for the salary survey, those increases are almost 20,000.
Okay.
I don't believe we'll get it. Sorry,
You don't think we're gonna get it from the city?
the county.
But we're not asking the county
No,
now
we're
for
not.
that 20.
The money's
So,
already here.
but
We're
she
not
just
asking
said that
for
it would
matching
cost
funds.
about 40,000 to open it up on Fridays.
But the way the money was taken away from the libraries when the system was put in place, positions were eliminated. So now you can restructure, you have the opportunity to restructure your staff, to put some positions back in place, to be open those extra 8 hours.
So is this for this year, or are we talking about the future?
The future.
Because, so
The
you're gonna
future.
have the money for the future?
Mhm. This first 62,000 is just to dissolve and to get ready for those extra libraries to have a little extra.
And you
park-
won't have to ask the county for it?
No, never.
Okay.
This is already in the pot.
Right. The
And so it's
62.
just a question of when the overview system got dissolved, there was money left over in the pot. So what Diane is doing with this is just reallocating that money from where it was originally intended to now say, okay, so in this pot, Hendersonville gets this, Gallatin this, Westmoreland that, whatever.
I got
And so,
that.
so through 23, we're fine.
Right,
And then with 2024, we haven't gotten there yet, but we'll,
but that's the next sheet.
yes, so we'll
Which I
have
get
that
that.
conversation.
But here's the thing is in order to create those positions, they had to take money from all of the libraries. Okay?
Originally, yes.
Originally,
Yeah,
correct.
they did.
So now, there's a deficit in all of the libraries, because they had to take money from them to create these
That's what she's
positions.
putting
Okay,
back.
no,
Yeah.
Right,
no,
and
but
two of the
she's-
libraries
But
gained
she's
money.
not putting it back, because before before this was created, Fridays were not able to happen in Hendersonville.
And that
Okay,
was before
so-
any of the salary adjustments were done.
Correct. But those salary adjustments were used for those positions that were given, okay, that were created. Now,
For the system.
if we go ahead and take those salaries that were taken away, and now we just give them back to the libraries, there's no way that we should be able to create a Friday position. Because it's gonna take more than $40,000 because you want it to be open for 8 hours.
Mhm, We already
Okay.
did this, we already did
And,
this
and
study.
I've spoken to numerous people, and the numbers aren't working out. Also, Hendersonville needs more money for electricity, so that means that Hendersonville, that on Friday, we're gonna have utility costs for this. And then, but all of that aside, $20,000 from Hendersonville, which, by the way, does it say in there now that, did Jamie Clary say, I'll give you this money if the county matches it?
No,
So that's not in there anymore?
no.
Okay. they're just gonna give us $20,000 to do what?
To be open on Friday,
Okay, so.
as
but-
long as we can make these other numbers work.
Okay, but someone is losing here in order to give Hendersonville more money to open on Fridays.
Well, I will tell you that when the system was created, that Hendersonville lost $73,000 in full-time help. 73,000. This plan right here is only 70. Okay, so they're not even getting back what they lost. Okay, now, they also, so some of that, yes, is mostly, these part-time help is to get them open on Friday. Yes, I agree. Westmoreland, we talked about this last time, that we felt that they needed to have a full-time person. That's in here for them. Portland needs to have some extra part-time help, and then Gallatin and Millersville is getting some. Gabby had said at the one meeting over and over that she's fully staffed. She doesn't need, but we talked about growth for Henderson, for Gallatin. So that'll be a little growth. Either she can, add some hours to what people are already working, as long as she doesn't get them up to full-time. Millersville, they've got a few extra hours there as well to plan for growth.
Can I call us suspend the rules and ask the directors the question?
We don't have to do that. They have a place at the table.
Okay.
Now that they're all five their own people, they can just talk.
Okay, okay, wonderful. So have you all received this? Okay, so, which one am I looking at? Wrong one. Okay, so Ellen, did you come here? Okay. Do you feel confident in a Friday open that money-wise and staff-wise, that you would feel comfortable with juggling this and making this happen?
I haven't done anything with that sheet since it was given to me to look at hours. I would be concerned.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
Okay.
It would be helpful, but I would be concerned.
Okay, thank you.
What would your concerns be, Ellen?
Well, so without trying to make this more convoluted, right? I'm not sure where the original numbers came from, because I don't believe that 40,000 is an adequate number to address a full day opening, right? I think that was done years ago, so maybe in the past it might have been, but it wouldn't be adequate for today. And I haven't done a hard case study, but to give you an example, our budget is over $750,000 for being open 4.5 days a week. So if we're adding a full day, even if I don't fully divide that out, it's going to be closer to $100,000. So when I'm working on my budgets currently, as we all are, I'm moving money around from different lines to try to beef up certain lines that I feel are going to be short. Ms. Daniels referenced electricity. For all of us, that's been an issue. We currently allot $48,000 a year for that building. We're going to be short this year. We're probably going to be 51 or so. And with an increase possibly coming this summer, we're probably going to need to go even higher. So that means that money's got to come from somewhere else. Now, I have asked, the only place where I've asked the commission to increase our budget is that. The only other numbers that are increased are monies that IT is giving back to us, or money that Ms. Johnson has said that would come if these are approved back in salary kind of things. So I'm not going to have money to augment instructional supplies, more things that we're doing, right? And HVAC is working harder because it's been problematic. So I've got to move it from other lines, which I probably can make happen this year. But ongoing is probably going to be an issue. Now, I don't know if the 70,000 or the exact number that's being referred to, if that's going to be enough to staff the library on Friday for a full day. The minimum day of staffing that we have at Hendersonville is 12 people on Thursday, because that's our lowest attended day, even though it's the longest day. But for the most part, we staff the library with most people, we're more people than that on any given day because we're so busy. That doesn't mean we couldn't make Fridays work. My only concern would be is if we staffed at such a low number, and let's say we said no program or anything, and people forget that. In a year or two, they're gonna say, hey, how come you're not doing stuff, right, whatever, and so then it's hard to go back and say, well, we did disagree. So when I was trying to create, and when Ms. Johnson came to me and said, hey, can you kind of play with some numbers, I was trying to figure out ideally what we could make happen. And so what I would do is I would take the money that we were talking about originally, and I think what I proposed was gonna come out, and it came at the last meeting, it was gonna cost over $100,000, which I thought was an outrageous amount, right? To hire additional staff, plus moving staff from other days on to Fridays to cover that. So, can I speak to specificity of what it would take? No, ma'am, I don't. But do I have concern? Yes, ma'am, I do. And I think just with the increased costs, I think it's problematic. One thing I said is I would rather reallocate money to my staff and try to keep them longer because I feel like I go through staff constantly. I don't know if you noticed, but we're the only department that relies mostly on part-time people. 2/3 of my staff is part-time. Most of my staff is a library clerk, one position. They get paid $12.18 an hour. No benefits, no days off, no anything. I would rather see them get an increase and try to keep them because it's hard to have the level of customer service and programming that it takes to invest in people when you're constantly having to replace them.
Thank you.
But I'm not trying to be difficult.
Yeah, thank you.
Would it work, excuse me, I'm sorry. If it wasn't an 8-hour day, would that make it any easier?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, because I know when you open the building, the electricity's gonna cost the same. When you turn the lights on, that's not gonna be much of a
Yeah.
thing to figure in, but what about staffing?
So I when I first came on last spring, I was kind of told that that was something the city wanted, but it was unclear what the city was requesting. So I was meeting privately with the mayor, and I made it known that I had no authority to do anything. I just wanted to know for him what he might see. And so we were exploring a lot of different options. We didn't agree on anything because I made it clear that there was people above me. But one of the options that we were possibly talking about was a 4-hour option, where we would just staff it with 2 people. We require 4 people to staff the library to be open. If we don't have 4, we don't open. But what we would do is we would open the foyer so that the bathrooms would be available because I know the walking trail gets heavily used. And then people could come and pick up their holds that they place, because we might have like 50 holds on any given day. And so they can pick those up. And we were thinking about doing that like on a 10 to 2 so they would mirror the hours on Saturday. And that, I haven't done the cost analysis of that, but I would think it'd be significantly lower.
Alan, is Thursday, you said Thursday is your least busy day, is that correct?
That's correct, because we're trying to increase that. We're starting to offer more programming. This is the time of year where we test things out. But traditionally, we don't offer a lot of programming on Thursdays, so that's probably the reason
Okay,
why.
I guess I was wondering, because if Thursday is already set up as a full-time day,
That's correct.
and we're looking at doing Friday, where we would anticipate eventually it being a busy day, because end of the week, people are, trying to get things done, prepare for the weekend, do whatever. Could in essence you make Friday maybe that full-time day and then do your less hours on the Thursday when it's not used as much? I don't know if that would be an option or not. Because I guess rather if Thursday's full-time and Wednesday Friday would have to be part-time, could you reverse those where it's part-time on a less busy day and then full-time more on the Friday? I'm just throwing that out as something to think about.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of it depends on what we do programmatically. Tuesdays and Wednesday mornings are our busiest times because we offer children's programming, and then Saturdays are our busiest time because I think it's the time that's accessible. Then I would say Monday and Thursday nights are probably our next busiest time because people can get to the library.
Mhm.
So if we offered the same programming 5 days a week, right, we probably would have a difference of when we'd probably be the busiest, but because we offer certain things at some times, because we're not able to do that across the board.
Right.
If I moved our Tuesday programming to Thursday, then Tuesdays would be the slowest day, right? So I think it's kind of a little bit of a misnomer.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we could, yes.
Joanna?
Thank you very much, Alan. you know, and I was gonna talk to a few of the other directors. Here's my thing is, and please, no disrespect to Hendersonville, but they just spent $600,000 on a pickleball court. I don't see why they can't give more money and take on Fridays for their library. In my opinion, this money that was taken away from to create these things, we need to give them back to the libraries to make sure that their needs are taken care of before we go and add more responsibility on the budgets. $20,000 is not going to be enough, and so really quickly, Anita, with this money that is being given to you in this budget amendment, are you good with that? Does that fulfill your needs? Is there a deficit? Tell me your thoughts.
I'm good with that. Actually, I've run the numbers and everything with the money I'm getting here and the money that's being budgeted back to us next year and everything.
Okay.
I would be able to get a 28 hour a week part-time person, which
Okay.
I would split between our front desk and our children's department, which would be more than what we need, yes.
Okay.
I'm good with that, yes.
Okay, great. Amy, with what you're getting here, how are you dealing with that? How is that for your deficit?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
I'm still very new.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got through hiring 2 people that I desperately needed,
Okay.
and I need to do a needs assessment. I'm not gonna hire anybody for any amount of hours until I know what the need is in our community.
Okay.
And so I didn't think I would have anything to say about it, didn't think I would get an opportunity, so I hadn't prepared anything to say. I was just going to figure it out when I had a chance to not be doing 4 people's jobs.
Okay. Well, and please, you know, we welcome you guys to always come with your questions, you know, and we had said last time to come with any possibilities that you were gonna need. But the money that you're being given here, the $2,694, which then will go to $4,056.
Yeah, and Amy, when April was still here and you sat down and worked on all these transfers, you were gonna transfer out $1,907 out of part-time help. We're not doing that. So what you're given here on these sheets will be in addition to what you were transferring out.
Right, I understand.
Okay, so.
I understand, I don't have an answer to your question. I apologize, am short-staffed, I've been doing the job of the children's librarian as well as my job, as well as doing the budget, as well as.
Okay, so do you need a children's librarian?
She's starting on the 4th, but it's just,
You what?
she starts on the 4th.
Okay,
So
awesome.
I just
Okay,
haven't-
great. Okay.
The balls.
Gotcha.
Balls.
Okay. Gabby, with what you're given here, are you good?
As long as I get to keep the position that we had discussed being moved to Hendersonville, because I was under the wrong assumption that I was gonna get one of the system employees positions back that I'd given up. And the extra part-time hours, I would be perfect.
Yeah, we're not taking any funds. What you had is the 221 for this fiscal year, the 221 in librarians. We're not taking anything away from you. That
Okay.
is
I saw that
staying.
in your email.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're referring to.
Okay.
Yeah, we're currently paying the person at Hendersonville because that was gonna be transferred to Hendersonville before I thought I was. I think we're okay. I think we are in a good place if I get that person, if I get to keep that person.
Okay. Okay. And then Lauren? I can't see you. Okay. Hi. Okay. And so you are good. We're giving the 8,000, the full-time person that will fulfill your needs. Okay. So, okay. So I think then, you know, the disbursement to them, I'm still not at all in favor of a Friday open. I don't believe that we have the funds for it. and I do believe that it will cause a problem in the future. And if Hendersonville only wants to give $20,000 to keep a library open on Fridays, then, you know, I think that if they want their city to be open on Fridays, they need to give more money.
Okay, I have, with these positions being transferred back to Hendersonville and that sort of thing, that's giving them back part of what they had. Not all they had before, but part of what they had. So they need these positions whether they're open on Friday or not. Okay. So our concern right now is to get this money distributed.
Yes, we
and
have to
getting
agree
it
to that.
back into their payrolls. So when we vote to move this money back, we're not saying you can open on Friday.
Okay.
Because we're waiting on Hendersonville City Council to vote on that. And then that's another problem. That's, you know, and once you get it back into Hendersonville's account, that's when you've got to sit down and crunch those numbers.
I was gonna say, don't we need to vote on that?
Yes.
Even as a board?
Yeah. Okay.
And all. So what all we're doing now is getting this money out of the system
Yes,
account
yes, we
back
are.
into their payroll.
Yes.
And then if Hendersonville votes on second reading and it becomes an ordinance then, not a resolution, then that's when you're gonna have to look at the numbers.
Yeah.
And you may have to come up with a plan, and we'll have to see that plan before we move forward.
Right.
So what we vote today really doesn't have that much of an impact yet.
Right.
That's down the road.
Right.
So we're only voting on
These numbers
Okay.
right here.
But we're voting on the numbers, but they also, like Hendersonville librarians, that has to be a full-time job, right? So if these salaries are being moved, then that goes to a full-time position, so he would have to use that for a full-time position, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
But
Alan,
he lost 2 children's librarians, and he now just has 1 back. I mean, I see that, I remember, and all that. So when you're giving him positions back, he can staff his library.
Right.
And still probably be okay,
Oh, yeah.
whether they're open on Friday or not.
yeah, sure.
I see this as 2 issues.
Right.
I see this as getting this money out of the system and getting it where the needs are. And everybody, they're in agreement that they're okay.
Right.
So I think I'm gonna call the question. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to it that hasn't spoken to it? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and vote. All in favor of making these payroll transfers as they are, you can either say aye or raise your hand.
Okay, is this just the first page? of
Just the first
62?
page, just the
Okay.
$62,000.
I can't ask Alan another question real quick?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So that motion is passed. Now we're moving on to the distribution of funds for the fiscal year 2024 payroll.
Yes.
And that is in your packet, the next page.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so. Do you have anything to say, or do you just want to?
No, I think we've said it.
Okay, all right. So, does anybody else have anything to say?
So this is for H librarians and H part-time.
Mhm.
Okay, and so that's 2 full-time librarians,
Yes.
okay? And 1 part-time,
Mhm.
okay? All right, so then I'll
And
ask Alan a
Westmoreland
question.
is your
Alan?
full-time.
I'd have to look at the numbers, I don't remember those, it depends. If I hire a library clerk 1, that's roughly $25,000. I'm not sure what you have in front of you, so, but if I were to hire at our highest level, which I think is $35,000, right? So you have
So you've got $70,824. So you've got a high skilled and then something a little bit lower to juggle.
That wasn't my question. No problem. Do you need 2 full-time people? Or would you prefer to have more part-time?
I probably would prefer full-time.
Okay, two full-time?
Just because it's easier communication-wise, they're in the building.
Okay. I just
They tend
want
not
to make
to
sure.
go as often as well.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
your part-time Allen is 28,005 that you can divide however you want.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, let's see if we can vote on this item. Did you want to stop me or?
No.
Oh, okay, you just,
Getting my notes done.
you raised, do I need to wait a minute?
No.
Okay, I just saw your hand moving, I thought, okay. All right, all in favor of the fiscal year 2024 payroll budget, indicate by saying aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, that's everybody, it's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Now, with the 2024 budget, they're working on it. They've got their sheets. They sent them to us. They all brought their budget sheets.
Yeah, Alan, do you have your budget sheets?
I do not, I apologize. I did not finish it. I was distracted.
Okay.
But I can send that to you.
Okay, I just want to say that I will go ahead and take care of, with finance, of getting these budget transferred over to them so that they can get on the budget committee for March.
Okay, you'll do that? Okay.
Yes, I will do that. You can count on these 2023 numbers being added to your budget after the county budget meets on March 13th. For the 2024, they do not have to go to budget. I put them on here so it's easy to read, but what you guys need to do is define your numbers over here on the right and add them to your payroll amounts on your worksheets. I need everybody's worksheet back by Friday at noon. So the only thing that you should have to do is add these payroll numbers on that just got approved today.
And they've got a copy of that.
Huh? For 2024. Yes, and by noon on Friday, I need them back.
And they've got a copy of those numbers and stuff.
Do you all have a copy of these numbers? You should all have a copy.
Just because Jessica sent it to me, I have it now. I'm adding 4,500 to my part-time lines for 2024.
Yes, you are.
Okay, that's what I had.
Mine's already included in there.
Yeah, mine is, but you need in the email I sent.
Okay, based on these numbers?
Based on 2024.
Okay.
This is Gallatin,
And make sure when you send out your budget reports by noon on Friday, that you send them to every board member. Okay, I will then review them all, make sure all the numbers are right based on all the sheets that you've been getting to add this and add that. I will make sure that I send them to accounting or finance no later than March 1st, and I will copy you. So I'll be sending out 5 different emails, but I will be the one that will be sending out the budget reports to finance, copying you.
I will give you mine, the 400, and Anita can get me another one.
And then, Diane, do you,
Wait, I have something.
when the county meets,
You can
I
have
guess it
mine.
goes to
I'll
budget
give you
committee
another one.
first, it goes to budget committee
Well,
first,
these
or?
payroll adjustments for 2023 will go to budget committee.
Okay.
These will not, because they're just getting added to their payroll sheet. I mean, their worksheet.
Okay.
And then what will happen then is,
When you're out like.
sometime in May, they'll set up a.
I know, I do.
I have to show up, but then the director will show up, and then they will get our budgets approved in May.
Will you will be at the budget committee meeting for 2023 to select?
Here's what's more.
Also, make sure that on your budget worksheets, that you are not, please, please, please do not do anything with benefits. That includes longevity and all the other benefits. Make sure you're taking your 2023 numbers and you're moving them over identically. I know that for some there may be some differences. That is a finance task, and they will look at your worksheet for your salary and then make sure that you, they will make those adjustments. Also, if you are wanting any type of capital improvements for fiscal year 2024, make sure when you send me your budget sheets, you give me a good detailed explanation of what that is, because we don't put that on our long-range plan for 2024. That starts in 2025 and then goes on. ARPA, there are some funds still with ARPA that I sent you guys an email from ARPA. I know the county is planning on doing some HVAC repair. There's also some water retention issues in one of the communities. They're planning on trying to use some of the ARPA funds. So if you've got HVAC issues, if you've got other building issues, make sure that you get me an email detailing what you are requesting. It doesn't mean that you will get it, but if we don't put our name in the pot, we're not going to get it. Yes?
So you mentioned that maybe carpeting might be an acceptable one to apply for, so maybe the section, a second section of my.
Yes, I would put it down. I don't know what they're gonna do. They probably got a long list of projects, and they're gonna decide which ones they wanna do. But if we don't put our request in there, we have no chance, okay? But just make sure, you know, if there's, like for you, if there's trip hazards or something, you know, plead your case. For Lauren, you've got drainage issues, plead your case. You know, HVAC issues, Alan, plead your case, okay? Just make sure that you get that to me in the next few days as well, so we can get our name in plenty of time. You do not have to have a detailed quote. If you know approximately how much it might cost, that's good to put it in there, rather than just trying to guess, and they may guess way too high, they may guess way too little. So if you've got some kind of an idea, make sure you put that in there as well. But by April 14th, I think, is when we have to have the final quotes back to them if our projects get approved. So, sorry.
If you don't ask, it's an automatic no. If you
Yes,
ask, you
yes.
at least, there's a chance. Right.
So much going on.
Right. Okay, is that all you're going to go over right now?
I think so.
Okay.
I thought we were gonna look at these while we were here today.
No, I don't think, you just wanted to tell them about this. You didn't want to go over these budgets because they're not, I mean, they're still working.
Yeah, they're still.
They're still working. This is preliminary, so.
Okay, so when do we vote on these budgets then?
They have to be back to finance by March 1st.
Okay.
They can't be
when-
late.
At the last meeting.
So do I need to add that? Because they go to, by the 13th, does that need to be on March 8th agenda?
The review of the budgets,
Uh-huh.
well, they're already turned in. They have to be turned in by March
We're
1st.
talking about today. If you look.
If
you
you've
look on
got
the
questions, that's what we're here for.
Okay, if you want to ask questions, fine, but yeah, distribution of funds for the 2024. So if you want to look at it and ask a few, I promised
Okay.
it would be after 4:30, so.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is that at the last meeting, that's the reason why I asked for the budgets to come, so we could discuss them, and if we had any questions, that they could tell us why they were doing this, because we knew we had to have it by March 1st, and we were gonna vote on the budgets at this meeting. So that's why I'm confused why we're not voting on the budgets. So Gallatin, I guess, we just got these budgets literally, yesterday or today? I haven't had time to take a look at any of these.
Yeah, and we didn't get them all
So-
yesterday.
Yeah, so I haven't had time, and so I can't go to the commission and say, yes, I approve these budgets, because I haven't even had time to look at them. So I don't know how we're going to approve them and send them March 1st, because that's literally what today was supposed to be.
This is a working document. We really don't have to vote until toward the end of the fiscal year, right?
Well, we'll get called over sometime in May,
Right.
and we'll
Because
have to
that
go
I was
and,
thinking, you know,
right.
it's,
So,
it's,
okay,
this is preliminary.
okay, that's what I was trying to get for the clarification,
Okay.
is that what has to be submitted on March 1st?
Their final, when they add all their payroll, it will need, that has to go, after they add their payroll, and I've looked at the numbers to make sure that when we start at fiscal year, we have to look at fiscal year 2023. We start with those numbers. You add on any of your lump sum numbers that was non-payroll. You add on your IT numbers, and you add on your new payroll numbers. That has to equal your revised 2023 plus those three things. If you've added extra money in here except for utilities, it will come out.
Okay. So then, that's what I was trying to ask, that's why I asked the clarifying question last time. So March 1st, it's submitted to budget, but then we have to, because that's what I thought today was, that's why I was gearing up to look at the budgets, and that's why I asked them to be here, so we could answer any questions before it was submitted to budget. So it goes to budget March 1st, and then when do we vote on it? Because we have to vote to approve the budgets.
Well, we can do that March 8th, and if we have any
We could do it
corrections,
March 8th, but a lot of times they send it back.
they send it back.
I mean, it's a
Okay.
working document, and it does not have to be voted on
That's my question.
until the end of the fiscal year. And sometimes it takes that long
Okay.
to get it going, you know, and a lot of
But you're
times.
voting, at the end of the fiscal year, you're voting going forward for 24?
Right, yes.
Okay, so
But
the
see,
23, which is what we're kind of talking about right now, has already been voted
Oh,
on,
yeah.
already been approved, there's nothing really to approve there.
Right.
It's
And
just a
this
question
is a
of,
working
we got the extra
document,
pot.
because like you say, it's submitted to the budget, they're gonna look at it, and they're gonna say yes or no, or whatever, or send it back, take another look at it. It's a it's a process, you know, and it has to be by the end of by that last meeting in the, right
Well,
before the fiscal year.
and once,
But usually, you do want it, you know, I'm
and once
thinking May.
finance gets it, then they're gonna take
Yeah.
our numbers, and they're gonna fix all these benefit numbers.
Mhm.
And if there's a COLA that's been approved, then they'll add those numbers in there, and then it comes back to us.
Right,
You know, and that
So
could
I'm
be,
thinking May is probably.
well,
when we'll-
definitely in May is when we'll get
Yeah.
called over to the finance department
Right.
to
Okay.
review the budgets.
What
That's-
for
that's
the March 8th, agenda we looked at, I can put under new business report from the budget committee, because they will be in by March 1st. If you have any new information, it can be on there. If not, you can just say, we have nothing to report yet.
Right, and I'll
From the
tell them when I
budget
send
committee.
them over
Yeah.
that
But I do have that on.
that the board has not.
Yeah, this
fully
is my written
approved
agenda.
these.
I will type it up and get it back to you all, and that sort of thing, on that. So, take it and look at it, because I do have a spot on the next agenda if you have questions, so that they can
Okay.
come up then.
Yeah, like I said, I thought we
Okay.
were voting on this today.
No, the special called meeting was to talk about budgets, and it has 2004, so we can include this in this conversation. But we don't have to vote, the main thing was to vote on those transfers.
Yes.
So that they get into their budgets and stay there. And then we can look at this along the way, because, yeah, but it's a process, it's never,
Very long process.
yes.
So-
it's-
Yeah.
So
and
it
it's-
comes, can I ask a question? So it
Yes.
comes back from the budget committee and then you can still make change? Because I, at some point, the board needs to agree this is what we are proposing.
Right.
So,
I want to put something on the
So-
March 8th that we're gonna agree
Okay.
on these budgets.
Okay, so,
okay, yeah, because you need to.
With the exception that finance will come back with benefits and stuff.
okay, so if I put report
Mhm.
from the budget committee,
Budget committee doesn't meet.
no, not that budget, this budget Oh,
Mhm.
or from the treasurer, how about that? I'll change it
Okay,
to
because I'm
treasurer.
like, I'm thinking
Okay.
county commission, budget committee.
No, from our the report from the treasurer on the 2024 budget.
Right.
Okay, and that way, then you can bring it back if you've heard of any changes or anything major that's gonna happen. You can bring that to the table.
Right.
And then and May is when it really gets tight. So when we meet we're gonna meet in April, for the bylaws.
Mhm.
Well, we can add that to the April agenda if we need to.
Right.
But I have.
Because I may have some more updates by
Yeah,
then.
because when I did the April, I did send them back and say bylaws was the purpose, but an agenda to follow. So, that's a work in progress too. So, we can, and whatever we put on the agenda, we just stick to on the special call. So,
Okay.
and it's all budget day to day, so, but take a look at this. And that way we'll get a report from the treasurer on the 2024 budget. And if you need to approve something and look at it, and if not, when it comes back, when they've done the meat of the work from now until May, then we can approve the budget in May.
Right.
So, and if we need a special call meeting, we can do that too.
So we're meeting-
We're getting good at it.
March 8th is our regular board meeting.
Yeah.
For the agenda, also, I will have library directors do a short report. All you need is just the facts, ma'am, just the spreadsheets and all that. If you want to send a report with pictures and programs, send that electronically. And we won't print it off, but we can see it. But just to the thing, bring your spreadsheet and maybe even an explanation for people like me that like words instead of numbers, so, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what your report will look like for March. Okay.
I have one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Just an announcement. I have scheduled Finance has scheduled Munis training for all the directors on March the 1st. It's a Wednesday at 10 o'clock. That will be March the 1st. Why?
Because I have children's programming at 10:30 on Wednesdays, and I don't have a children's librarian yet. Sorry.
Well, then you'll have to get with one of the other directors to learn. Because this is the time that they've scheduled for us.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know.
They're
that.
real friendly, and if you just send them a message and ask for another time to meet with them individually, they're usually real kind about it.
Anybody else do it?
I've asked what room we're gonna be in, and they've not come back to me. By the time I left the house, I've not gotten a response. But it'll be here at the county building somewhere. And it's March the 1st at 10 o'clock.
But here at the county.
We have gotten a mountain of stuff done today.
Yes, we have. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Dan Whiteside, Diane seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
And I just wanted to clarify with you, the reason why I said that was because of what she sent to us. So this is what she's saying that will happen. So if that is something that is to be sent to us, then it's something that we talk about there. So that is my direction.
You'll make it.
I don't have plenty of time.
Mary Beth, nice to see you.
Okay.
There's a mic here. We haven't signed
Your
that
email
yet.
address, because I did copies of the state.
Oh, okay, right.
About library.
They should have everything in the website.
Ann? Okay, all right. Ann?
Good to have you. Thank you, good to be here.
Are you getting the emails?
No, I'm giving her my, my personal email account. I'm having trouble with the county website. And I'm working with somebody from the IT department. We talked, he called me back 3 times. I can turn that off.
Anita, it takes a village. No, I don't think we want to do this.
How do you turn it off?
Then,
I got that done. Diane.
point about the mispronunciations, what happens is
It's stop capture. Okay.
So are you, do you stagger it? Okay, for how long have you been? I hate laptops. Okay.
I think it's stopped. It's not. Yeah, because there's a lot.
What is it? Yeah, see, I hate when you get it, and it's nice, so I've got to catch up. And your Jackie sent me something.
Right, you're trying to tell me.
Correct. Yes. And that's why I missed the meeting.
Thank you.
Well, I'll make sure that gets to you because
Okay.
we're gonna get them all.
Here,
in
let-
to see it.
let
We
me-
gotta probably do some editing, but overall, it's good.
Okay. Let me give you, there, let me give you.
I was an elementary school
Okay.
teacher
And I'll turn that
for
off.
19.
We did.
And the last 11, and the last 11 I was in the library.
Did that
an
go
elementary
off?
school library.
Oh,
I think,
It
hit stop capture.
I did.
All good.
And
I
it
could get
doesn't
a room
do
of kids,
anything.
and as long as it was productive noise, and I knew it was
And I
productive
sure
noise.
don't wanna be on camera.
My daughter, who never wanted to be a teacher,